to Karen Reed. Okay, because there's stuff on Karen Reed.
Oh, so exciting. Good.
Okay.
It's a really great trial.
It is a good trial. It's really
Yeah.
interesting, and I'm pretty
Yes.
heavily invested in it. So it's the third week, and facing second-degree murder charges, 2022 death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. They contend she ran him down with her SUV on a snowy night and left him to die outdoors. They insist O'Keefe was fatally injured inside the defense. Insists O'Keefe was fatally injured inside the home and then moved outside to disguise the scene, pointing to conflicting witness timelines, surveillance footage gaps, and digital forensic discrepancies. Okay. But on the stand again on Friday was Jen McCabe. Good old Jen. She just sank herself. It got worse and worse with every day.
It did?
Friday was the worst. Yeah. And that was her final day.
Okay.
So but overall, let me just say, she repeatedly stumbled. Alan Jackson had relentless questioning of her. Okay. And she answered, I don't recall a lot, just like she did in that first trial. That was like her common theme. She did, I'm going to just off the record here say that I did notice that she obviously made a conscience effort. I can never say that word. An effort to prepare herself better for this trial. And she really made an attempt to come off differently, to come off nicer. And it did not work because her true colors just started coming out.
Real quick, I don't know if you know this answer. I just want to know if anybody even knows. But in her first trial, did she wear the same cross?
I don't know.
I wonder.
I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking.
Because she's trying to portray a certain, do you understand what I'm saying? Like that all matters, like your presence.
Absolutely. That would be interesting to know if she wore it in the first one, just like, like to give off I'm holier.
I'll look it up. So, yeah, right. So I'll look it up next time we do our little powwow and we read, I'll tell you.
So if you remember from the first trial, she constantly said, I don't recall when it was convenient for her, but then new details when it was benefiting her, right? So she did the whole I don't recall a lot. Again, she struggled with her own timeline, contradicted her 2022 grand jury testimony, most notably over the infamous I hit him remark. Okay. Jackson tried to have her read aloud from the full 227-page transcript to show that Reed's words were posed as a question, did I hit him, and not a confession of I hit him. That was the dramatic difference between both testimonies for Jen McCabe. All of a sudden now it's, I hit him. That's all she said was, I hit him. I know. That's it. And I don't know how she's going to get out of that one. And I think the jury has already seen right through her. I really do, because it's being pointed out. Okay. So, mid-examination.
I mean, not for nothing. Real quick for Jen, like, why didn't she practice? Or why didn't she read her old transcript? I mean, is she not access to that? I mean,
I don't know.
Why would you not go over the timeline, write down the timeline of what you're going to say? How would you not know? I'm just surprised that she was having difficulty with these answers, because I at least would have practiced, or in the sense of, remembering the times, but whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe she was just nervous. I don't know.
Maybe. But there is a second star of the courtroom in the Jen McCabe testimony, and that is Judge Cannone. And I say a star, not in a good way. This woman, I'm so angry with this judge. It is not even funny how mad I am at this judge.
What does she do now?
Okay. She is totally helping her on the stand. She would get asked a question, and then there would be
bantering back and forth.
No, why am I getting a brain
brain fart?
Yeah, well, I don't say that word, but
brain fart?
Yeah, I don't say something like that. I just don't.
Fart?
I just don't. I'm sorry. I'm a lady. I don't say things like that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were thinking that fart was a bad word, no,
curse word. No, but it's just a word I don't. It's just a word I don't say. I just don't say.
I understand.
Okay, objection. Is that the word I'm looking for?
So who's saying objection?
Well, when Alan Jackson is questioning her, there's a lot of objections, right? And then she'll lean in and she'll like lead the witness in a way, like how, like, do you know the answer to that question? And do you know how, like she'll pose questions that are just odd for a judge to ask. And it ends up helping Jen. It looks like she's helping her. I mean,
really?
Yeah. So, okay. So mid-examination, halfway through, Judge Cannone abruptly halts the exercise and quotes, "You need not wade through the entire record in open court," when it comes to Alan Jackson trying to get her to read the 227-page transcript. And she almost gets mad at Alan Jackson. Is like, you don't need to wait. You don't need to wade through this entire record. And then she was like, move on to him. Okay.
Wow.
And constantly like being like clearly showing bias. Yeah. And showing bias right in front of the jury. And it's just like, what does that say? I mean,
you think the jury definitely clearly saw that?
Oh my gosh. Yes. It screams at me. So I can only imagine what they're thinking. Okay. She also, previously barred the defense from suggesting alternative suspects, such as the Canton police officers and all that, citing, concern over that. And documents also abruptly suspending a February 18th motions hearing on expert consultation claims. I mean, there's just a slew of stuff this woman's done. During McCabe's cross, she twice curtailed Jackson's lines of inquiry, ordering him to move on several times from questioning about McCabe's Google searches and warning, quote, she said, "No more nonsense." And when defense experts pushed for additional crash reconstruction testing, again, she said, "No more nonsense," right in front of the jury. So also these limit what the jurors are allowed to hear, and it frames the defense as being a burdensome to her.
Right.
It signals that certain details aren't worth their attention. And, you need neutral adjudication in the courtroom. Okay. And clearly it's one-sided. And these things like this will just like make the appearance of the defense to just look not good and not fair.
I wonder if the jury is actually having these questions and wondering why is it that she's not allowing it. Like, I mean, I'm wondering if they're thinking like, oh, if she doesn't think they're important, maybe they're really not important. Or are they like, taking it the way we're kind of taking, like offended, like, wait, why are you not letting it in? What are you trying to help them for? You know what I mean? Like you could take it so many different ways, like a pro or con. So I'm wondering what the majority of the jurors are actually thinking. So I can't even wait until after the trial. Hopefully some of them will actually do an interview.
So I'm trying to look up why. I tried to research why there were reasons, if there are reasons why Judge Cannone could favor the prosecution, right? So, and I'm going to say them because maybe there's somebody listening that doesn't know it. You might already know this, but it was new to me. So maybe you've heard this because you followed the first trial pretty good.
Right.
So in July of 2023, during that first murder trial for Karen Reed, Alan Jackson asked Judge Cannone to step aside at one point, citing a private text message from Jen McCabe's brother-in-law, Sean McCabe. Jackson read aloud a line that McCabe allegedly sent to a reporter, and it said, quote, "Auntie Bev, whose seaside cottage do you think we're going to bury your corpse under?" That was something that was allegedly sent to Judge Cannone as a threat from Jen McCabe's brother-in-law, Sean McCabe. Oh. So out of fear,
I didn't know about that.
Okay, so out of fear, she could have. Oh, and by the way, they said, "Would you like to step down from this case because you feel threatened by this?" And she said, "No, I want to proceed." All of a sudden, she like no fear at all. A lot of judges might be like, "I don't want this case anymore," especially at her age.
I guarantee if it's true that they're putting pressure under her, they might have something over her. So she has to proceed whether she wants to or not.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So could that be? So by calling Cannone Auntie Bev, McCabe's relative implies a personal familiar relationship with her, followed with a threat against her safety, right? So, I mean, when I looked that up, I was like, wow. Well,
I would like to know, was Jen McCabe's brother charged with anything?
No, not that I know of. I mean, I couldn't find anything else but that. And I was just like, whoa, that's insanity.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he was charged with anything, because maybe did they just sweep it under the rug, or did they take it, or did they file charges for intimidation, whichever it is, or
I don't know, but that's to me is like a huge bombshell. And I'm sure there's people that know this case inside out is going to hear this and go, oh, we knew about that already. Well, it was news to me. And maybe there's somebody listening that didn't know, but I was like, why is this woman being so biased? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so to wrap up Karen Read, and hit the sub button while you're at it, like and share our page. Let's go over what happened today. So I got 4 witnesses. Oh, no. Is it 4 or 5? No, 6. No, 6 witnesses today. Okay.
Wow,
and I didn't.
Through a lot.
Yeah, they did. And I'm going to listen to this all tonight. I wasn't able to listen today, but I do have some notes on what happened today, and I'm going to listen tonight. But here are today's witnesses. We've got retired Lieutenant Paul Gallagher of the Canton Police Department. He described arriving at 34 Fairview during the snowstorm. He used a leaf blower rather than a shovel to uncover what he believed were blood spots in the snow. He collected 6 samples of the blood in red Solo cups borrowed from a neighbor and packaged them in a grocery bag, right? Raising questions about proper evidence collection procedures. Seriously. And this is the prosecution's witness.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, this goes to show you what they got is not all that great. They really don't have a great case. They don't. So go ahead, put your Solo cup using guy up there. Right? All right.
It's like, where is your kids? Aren't you like obligated to have them in your car? I mean, I found it so weird.
So shoddy.
Almost like they didn't want it to be like a legit case. You know what I mean? Like, they just want something to be thrown out. Let's just do it like half-assed. We won't knock on the door wherever that household, where we're at. We won't interrogate anybody who lives here or the people who are inside. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Firefighter paramedic Katie McLaughlin, Canton Fire Department. She found Reed frantic and distraught at the scene, repeatedly saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, within earshot of responding officers. And then she confirmed she heard Reed make the admission 4 times, and that another woman identified as Jen McCabe had to urge Reed to calm down. She revealed under cross-examination that she knew the homeowner's daughter socially, a detail she only disclosed after facing online harassment, prompting defense efforts to undermine her. Yeah, she's goodbye. She knows she's got a direct relation to somebody in the house.
Absolutely.
She's no good.
Absolutely.
Then the prosecution called Sarah Levinson, high school friend of Brian Albert Jr., and recounted a quiet, festive birthday gathering at the house on the night in question with no arguments or unusual events inside the home. She testified she and her friend Julie Nagel left at 1:30 and then 2 a.m. noticed nothing out of... What? Left between 1:30 and 2. Sorry.
Okay.
Noticed nothing out of the ordinary and saw no one lying in the snow as they departed.
Seriously.
Well, of course they didn't see that. Of course they're going to say that. And he was probably still in the house, in the basement somewhere, getting beaten. Yeah. Who knows? Heather Mason, partygoer from Walpole, Massachusetts. She said that while being tipsy, she accompanied Ryan Nagel to the house and observed a couple inside a black SUV turning onto Fairview Road. She could not identify the occupants and denied seeing anyone exit the vehicle or cross the yard towards the home. Then Ryan Nagel got up today. He testified he saw a black SUV pulled ahead of his friend's truck just before 12:30 a.m. with a woman at the wheel and the interior dome light on. He denied seeing any footprints leading to the house or anyone exit the SUV or any signs of a struggle on the front lawn. And then we've got the last witness, which actually I'm going in reverse here. It was actually the first one of the day, I believe.
Okay.
Forensic scientist Hannah Knowles from Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. She presented a retrograde blood alcohol analysis placing Reed's level between 0.14 and 0.28 at approximately 12:45, well above the legal limit. She confirmed, though, her calculations were based on a 9 a.m. blood draw indicating a serum alcohol of 93 milligrams, but acknowledged she could not verify hospital procedures or vials used for the collection. So that is today's highlight. Yes.
So, I mean, we need to look up, what was it? It was between 1.4?
It was it's above the legal limit.
What was it?
0.14 and 0.28%.
And the legal limit is 0.08, right?
That 0.08. I don't know. That I don't know.
I want to look up to see how intoxicated are you between these two.
Yeah. And then we could bring it up next time, I guess, Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to look up the cross.
Look up the cross. The Jen McCabe wear a cross in the first trial. Does anybody know?
And how drunk are you between these two percentages?
Okay.